We're live?
We
Woo!
are.
Nice.
Excellent. Welcome.
Second drop-in session.
Yes, second drop-in session. And joining me is Anna Mackay.
Again.
And lots to go through today. This isn't a formal or a regimented session. It's basically us sitting around on the platform, basically just looking at planning, talking about planning and doing things on the platform. So there's been a lot of changes in London of late. And yeah, very exciting stuff, and obviously it's wonderful for us to have been part of the City of London 2040 Reg 19 consultation that's just gone ahead, and it has resulted in this.
I think just to mention before, any questions as we go along, drop them in Slido. So if you've joined to ask anything specific you'll want to know about the platform, use the QR code and drop us questions as well as we're going along.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry to
No, that was, thank you. I just jumped straight in there, but you're absolutely right.
This is for, everyone to have input into. So drop your questions in as well and we'll try and answer some as we go along.
Yeah, I mean, we're really here to chat to you. So the only reason we turned off the comments on YouTube Live is that if someone says something sensitive about a development, then we can't post the recording.
Yeah.
And any development, any part of London can be sensitive. As we found out, and anyone who works in this space knows. So we do have to do a bit of filtering, but we really do want you to engage and ask questions as we, roam around the platform and absorb all the incredible information collated in 3D in one place, which is VU.CITY. So what you're looking at right here is the city, the left city cluster, okay? So if we have a little look, oh, you know what? I actually did hide a bunch of stuff just so that the contours could be right. But this is how the city contours should look. And I'll just unhide a few of these because I've hidden some so that the contours would wrap around them. So here we have the walkie-talkie. We've got everything here that's coming in to sort of complete the cluster, because right now the walkie-talkie seems to stand on its own. It stands out a bit, and that was going to be filled in. So everything you're seeing here is in yellow. And several years ago, we were approached by Ben Ely from the City of London, who said, how can we do a cumulative visual impact analysis on Fleet Street? And how can we protect the cluster? And that turned into us creating a contour mesh, and eventually, years later, 127 cameras, lots of different teams working back and forth. It has resulted in a cluster, something called that they've released in their draft plan that they're calling the contours, the city contours. And the city contours look like this. If we zoom in on those, this is the actual city contours, so these red lines here. And this is what we call a constraint mesh with those contours on them. And as you can see, there's two pathways through it, both pointing at St. Paul's. We can see. Yes. And there we go, St. Paul's again. So obviously St. Paul's does feature a lot in this, but we're going to have the City of London on. They're going to come in. We're going to do an event in July, which I'm really pleased to host. So certainly watch out for that. And we're going to let them talk about this in much more detail. I'm just the person who took the project and guided it to the end.
I think, it's just interesting to see how different sort of stakeholders within the built environment can utilise a 3D model, and this is definitely much more from the public sector side, City of London, how they've used 3D to depict the sort of future of the city cluster, and trying to manage that going forwards. So really interesting to be able to see that in the platform.
Yeah, and the cluster's changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
So I'm, one of the questions, we're going to be taking questions on that when they do come in. But a lot of the things people say to me is, this is a permanent building site. When is it?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
When I cycle to work, I come this way and it's a nightmare. But it's good to see so much going on. But there's always roadworks going on at the moment, so shutting off bits of the road to fill in this city cluster.
Yeah, and well, I can't wait. I can't wait for it to be done, because
Yeah.
I do think it is a really interesting part of the city, and definitely one of the most
impressive.
iconic. Yeah.
Everyone knows where you are when you look at it.
Iconic, world-leading urban design. So you see here the LOD4 models. We do have a few LOD4 models in, but let's have a look at the other things that have happened to protect London that you can also see, and look at them all together.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see how this has kind of come about with some of our other tools in the platform, which is obviously specific for London at the moment, but I'm sure there'll be other cities, especially in the UK looking further north, which will start to follow suit with some of these, what we call like protected views. So obviously London's got the LVMF, which we've got modelled into the platform to this height and width, which you can see here is definitely focused around St. Paul's.
Yep.
As something very iconic in London.
The London Views Framework Management is what that was. That is the full title for it. We love acronyms.
I'm so used to the acronym now.
And it's all centered around St. Paul's, but you also, do you see here these key views of London Tower Bridge here too? If we go to Tower Bridge, we can also see that is an LOD4 model. Iconic bridge.
Well, for the City Hall.
Yeah. And then we have the red. Now, do you know what the color code for the LVMF is?
You want to tell me?
Yes.
Oh, go on, here we go.
And we can see how all the yellow concentrated there. Just see how everything stays out of the way almost. Red means automatic decline. Yeah, so you cannot build in there. It cannot be granted. Yellow is a maybe and orange is caution. So that's why when we look at the orange bits and the yellow bits, do you see how we see stuff peeking out right there? That's because it's not as severe as the others. The others absolutely are a case of, if it's in the red, you absolutely cannot do it. But you see all these little bits peeking out here because they had a look, and the advice was that actually this isn't going to cause any major harm and we need this building here.
Obviously it's interesting when you go over to, is it around the Shard, I think?
Yep, yeah, right there. There it is.
Right there. That's exactly where we are.
Yeah, yeah. And the Shard is now its own landmark, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's its own iconic thing. Everywhere. Yeah. And people call it the cheese grater, right? Isn't that? Is it the cheese grater?
No, this is the Shard. We've got the cheese grater in the city cluster.
See, I keep getting the Shard and the cheese grater mixed up.
The gherkin, cheese grater, walkie-talkie, and the Shard.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some names coming through for some of those which are getting built at the moment. Need some new additions.
We do. We should come up with, the architect has clearly come up with a wonderful, fancy, sophisticated name. But us locals always love to change those names, don't we? So here we have another piece of 3D policy. In fact, this is the very earliest piece of 3D policy. And I'll just turn off the LVMF so that we can properly see it. And that is the St. Paul's height grid. And what I find amazing about the St. Paul's height grid, here it is that this was done in, I think it was around 1980 or so. It is that, yeah, it's really early. Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
That's right. And I think it was all hand drawn around models as well. And it's a very simple parametric rule. Do you see how it's just? It's pretty much just little blocks.
Yeah.
And up until this point, there was apparently a gentleman's handshake around not putting up tall buildings in St. Paul's. And obviously, doing business via gentlemen's, there's so many things wrong with that. But that was how it was back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think something happened. from what I get, again, Ben Ely from Sea of London, he tells this story far better than I am. I'm just trying to recount his story. And it caused some outrage. And that's when it was like, okay, we need to put this into policy. So one of the earliest ever pieces of 3D policy has to be this one. And as you can see...
still used today.
Yeah, and we're still poking out, aren't we? We've still got little bits poking out here.
Yeah.
Little bits, right?
The new stuff, less so.
Yeah.
I think the grey's all our baseline models. That's from 2016.
That's right.
And then we've got the blue, which are obviously under construction at the moment.
Yeah.
But they are pretty much bang on.
Yeah.
The upper limit.
And you're right, there isn't really a lot. And you can see, do you see how this building here has been sculpted around?
Quite clever.
That's done a good job there.
What is that one? Let's have a look.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Timeline.
It's here. 100 Newbridge Street. Oh, it's Gensler and DP9, two of our favourite people. Gensler, who's is it Manitas or Tazines? But yeah, they use us.
Yeah, interesting.
And I guess the timeline, if you're seeing this for the first time, this really just shows how hard we work at VU.CITY to compile planning information and create all these 3D models and compile them all in one place.
Yeah, I think it was really nice once you start going back in time on it, and you can see how much has been added in, particularly in a city like London, but most of the major cities in the UK.
Yeah, in fact, do you want to do a little time warp?
Let's go down to like the 9 Elms area. I quite like it down there.
9 Elms?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting.
Just like that?
No, 9. Be written. Yeah, go anywhere down that way. Yeah, it's an area which is really. Go down to the tavern.
Yes, we're going for a drink. We're going for a virtual drink.
Yeah,
here we are.
Particularly in the last, probably like 5, 10 years, it is boomed.
Look at that lovely LOD4 cube. Oh, excuse me, sorry, terrible cough today.
It was quite nice. Yeah, if you go back in time on this, you can see.
Oh wow, look at that, huh?
So you got Battersea Power Station, iconic.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's have a look.
So
that new, and that's new Covent Garden.
Look at that.
So yeah, back in 2016.
Wow, 2016.
Very different. We even used the consents as well. Wow.
That's 2016.
Yeah, a lot going on down there.
So we've literally gone from that to that.
Yeah, it's impressive. A lot of tall buildings.
Yeah. But you know, having lived in New York for many years, tall buildings really aren't a big problem. They're just absolutely everywhere.
Well designed.
If they're well designed. Yeah, goodness, I got caught in one of those wind tunnels in the middle of the center when I was around, can't remember, I was off on my way to the NLA at the London Communication Centre, and there's this one bit where you've got all these tall buildings, and I just got absolutely destroyed by a gust of wind and water.
Like that's more the weather we're getting at the moment.
But it's accelerated by the tall buildings. And, you know, and I came back here and everything was absolutely fine. And I'm like literally covered in water, and I look like I've been through a war and I've swam through the Thames. And that's when I had to turn up to the panel and they had cameras everywhere. And then I saw that being shown at the NLA.
Yeah.
Me sat there soaking wet going. But yeah, I think that I guess the heat and the wind is where you get the problems with the tall buildings, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely something to consider, but it's great to be able to see them in context here. Less
That's pretty
isolated
incredible
when you're putting them up.
I'll tell you another pretty amazing place that I had a look at doing an optimization for, and that was Silvertown Quays. And that's over in Newham. And the GLA have done a huge...
It's funny, there's two kind of areas at the moment. It's getting to that next kind of outer sort of zone. What zones are we in here? I always go by the TFL zones.
Ah,
We're
well,
in zones.
we're now in Greenwich, and we can see here the Millennium Dome. And actually, Greenwich itself is actually pretty incredible. But here you can see Silvertown Keys, and just see this water and the development happening here.
Yeah, it's impressive.
This is it right there. Now, I did an optimization. I did a showcase for the GLA, and we had this little event, and they gave me the task of doing an optimization for this part here, the Silvertown Keys. I went on and had a look and thought, oh, okay, I have to do a live sites of optimization. I'm going to see how close we can get it to this, and it was unbelievably close in the end. It actually did a really great job of this. But this is a really interesting area in Newham. You can see all these really interesting little buildings. It's going to be like a little water world. Do you see there's all these little bits around here, and I think that's going to be absolutely amazing.
Nearest station. I'm trying to think how you get in from here to the centre. Data layers.
Yeah, let's have a look. Do we have stations on transport?
Yeah, on transport. I'm going to network. TFL network.
Ah.
Perfect. Let's have a look.
I forgot that was there. There's so much you just forget. So we got the underground. There we go. But that's what's the green one again? Let's have a look.
DLR.
Yeah, the DLR goes through there, as well as is that the Metropolitan?
Yeah, the Met line.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, nice to be able to see what's nearby.
Yeah, and speaking of wind, do you remember when we had that massive storm and the O2 Centre got ripped off? It was quite a while ago. Well, look, it was because of these two buildings here. They created this little wind tunnel, and it got pushed. We went and had a look at it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so just, I guess, shows how doing wind analysis is important, and how that's one of the things we're looking at in our future on this platform as we go to our data-driven, our data-first reboot.
Just thinking of some of the tools we've actually got in here, and I think nice to be able to highlight is the create tool in here. So we talk about, obviously, a lot of people bring in models into the platform. Yeah. But what's quite nice when you're quickly sort of looking at sites, or you just want to have a bit of a play around, we've actually got a function in the platform to be able to create sort of like initial massing models within the platform itself. Yeah. Which is quite nice to be able to show. We can pick an area.
Yeah, look, well, there's an empty parking lot here. This looks perfect, doesn't it? So let's say you bought this piece of land. Should we have a quick look on the land registry just to see what it is there? Because I think, again, a lot of people don't realise we pay a lot of money for this, so you can find little bits on the data land registry. So just hit plus, click on the bit in the map. Here we go. That's our site boundary. And is it going to tell us? There we go. It's the Royal Borough of Greenwich. So let's say Royal Borough of Greenwich, and we have this little bit. Let's now draw a massing. And when we do massings, one of the most important things we do is we're going to freeze this. That means the tiles aren't going to try and load as we start to move around the massing. That can cause some slowdown. And then I'm just going to take the shadows off, because VU.CITY starts, right, with everything on. And everything on is great, and people love that, and they love that sort of powerful visual beauty that the platform has inherently. But it's also very weighty, and when we're doing something like massing, we don't need all these features. We can turn them all off. So I've turned off the trees, I've turned off the shadows, and I've frozen that model. Yeah, so it's nice to go from the overall. Now we've come down to a more granular level at site. Yeah. Site level. So I'm just going to hit create, and let's see what kind of capacity we can get here. How good are your architectural skills, Christopher? Oh, I have been known to make architects laugh very hard. Cool. You and me both. I catch them sniggering. Yeah, definitely a reason I was a planning consultant in a previous life. But the whole point of the create tool is just so that anyone can use it. Yeah. Right. So if you can draw a box, You can use it, yeah. And I just drew a little box there, sort of fitting the boundary. And
Oh, it's
here
nice.
we
It'll
go.
drop a single story, so it'll keep it at that 3.2, which is kind of your standard
Yeah.
story height, and then you can just quickly be able to extrude up by levels. So you can kind of get an idea. Actually, we've looked at this and we've gone, yeah, okay. You know what? For this kind of area, was that 13 you put there? Yeah, 13. I think we can go a bit higher, to be honest.
I think we can. I was thinking of doing like a tower situation.
Okay. Yeah, you can really start playing around with this a bit. Go on, start making a nice shape.
I've actually caused a split in this already, so I will.
So yeah, you can actually start selecting in between levels, and you can start pushing and pulling faces. So if we go for one of the sides.
There we go.
Yeah,
that's
you
it.
See these two arrows. You can actually start.
Boom.
Pushing faces back.
And now we can tower up this way.
Nice. So we're a bit higher near the roadside. Oh, the other roadside.
Yeah. And I mean, look at how everything else here is.
Yeah.
See, I usually sort of make things that end up being toilets. They look like giant toilets because I come here and I sort of make them round, and then it looks so that's where things get really funny. I'm gonna create a third level on this skyscraper and a third sort of section, and let's go up here.
Going for some GLA referable schemes, nearly.
Yeah, I think this one would definitely get pulled. Okay, so now let's just say we could get planning for this, and they accepted it.
I'm confident.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm already invested in it, and I've only just drawn it. 184,245 square kilometers. So it's really nice for that quick little. Sorry, meters, not kilometers.
Wow, that's more than we've got covered over London.
The biggest building ever created. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good because you can come in and quickly see that we've got GEA. You can do if you click on the drop down, we've got some other options as well for you to quickly
absolutely.
GIA and the NIA as well. So a few options just to quickly, if you just want those like initial ideas of what's kind of you're thinking of for a site, and just looking at within the context, the Create tool is just a really easy and quick way to do that without having to do modeling in other software, bringing it in, and then having to take it back out, adjusting it, bringing it back in. You can quickly just go, you know what, actually on this site, what is it now, 27 stories, maybe a bit more?
Yeah, it is. Well, the levels, this has 40 levels. It's a gigantic building. But if we make this a terrace, a lovely terrace, put a pool here.
Infinity pool on the second one.
That's right. I don't know why there aren't more infinity pools in England.
Because of the weather.
They could be heated and covered though.
But what's also quite nice, you can start pushing and pulling faces, but you can actually add in, I'm going to test your skills.
Oh, here we go.
And you can add in what we call like vector points almost.
Yes.
So when you triple click, and here we go, you get up these blue points, you can actually start making some quite interesting shapes on some of these buildings.
Yes, you definitely can.
And what's quite nice about this, let's say you're working in areas which you just want to create that initial overall shape rather than, you know, what the building would look like for you to then work within. And let's say you might be working near a protected view, you could actually just really start shaving off areas of a shape. Yeah. So you absolutely maximise out the overall space for you then to model within. So not saying that this, you know, could get built, you never know. But this is definitely like a shape to then work within. But you can create some quite nice. We've got a bit of an overhang on this one.
We do.
What's also quite nice as well, when you then click in, you show here, you can add in additional points as well. So you get a little green dot.
Yeah. So here we go. This is, I mean, this is a huge massing. So
we do it on the top floor, maybe.
Yeah.
Or one of the terraces. But yeah, you can actually start adding in, so you're not restricted to the points you've initially dropped down. You can actually start adding in some more points if you really want to get a bit more granular with creating some of these shapes. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of make this, I'm going to solve the situation of the pool that I want to put here. So if I click on here, double click, just so we can see, can you just pull over the create panel?
Yes.
Just realise it's hidden behind you. Just pull it down to the bottom. Yeah.
Oh no, capacity calculator. What's that doing? No, that should not be on. Yeah, I'll pull that over here. There we go. Right. Back in here. So
perfect.
I'll just show you how to create another point and how you can start sculpting. So you see when you click in between, that little green button appears? So that's all you do. You just click on it and it turns into something, and then you can pull that out if you want. Oh, I broke it. You can create impossible shapes, but you can get
on this bottom one here.
Well, this one here.
Yeah, that's doing one.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Yeah.
And that can either
pop that in a bit. There we go. So yeah, you can just start adding in, actually creating some sort of more interesting shapes within the create tool itself. I mean, yeah, we'd probably spend ages. Chris looking for ages doing that.
We could, and people make all kinds of stuff in my training sessions. They love the massing tool.
Yeah, it's quite fun. I think particularly, obviously, if you've got access to some of the more advanced modelling tools, which you then bring your models into the platform. But for people who don't necessarily have access to some of the more advanced tools, what's great about this, you can actually then export these into your sort of more advanced tools as well, and then start working with these or within that shape. So you know that's your absolute maximum envelope to work within. So you can export it as a shape and then work within it, or you can use it, I think, in SketchUp to start like editing it as well. So yeah, quite a nice way.
And you can see how there's the geolocation is on. So you can export it as an IFC or an FBX, or even to site solve as a building envelope to generate a building in, or a site envelope. Another great way to export bits from VU.CITY really easily is the hide tool. And in the hide tool, you can, let's say I've taken that building and I've got that model and it's geolocated and I've exported it. But if I want to sort of draw the actual site itself and cut out the terrain as well, and then bring that back into the model, I can draw the entire site around it here. And then this plotted area can also be exported to an FBX. Do you think I have? Oh yes, of course, because I've got these two as well here. So this can now get exported to a DXF, and basically,
it's quite useful for when, let's say, with the hide tool. So one of the benefits, I suppose, of the hide tool now is you can actually like punch out the terrain. So it's almost like a cookie cutter cutting through the model. But obviously then it's like, if you want to import terrain yourself, what you can do is, as Chris has said, export this as a DXF file. You can then, that will export then as that shape file. You've then got that in your own modelling software to work within, use as the outline for your own terrain. So let's say you might be looking at a site and you might be wanting to change the terrain, you might want to be pushing it down, or whatever it might be. When you then import it, it will fit much nicer within the terrain you've already cut out.
Yeah.
So when you bring your model, your building and the terrain back into VU.CITY, it will fit nice and snugly within the shape you've punched out in the model. So you can see here where Christopher's now hidden the terrain. It's now just like literally punched a hole through our model.
Yeah.
So the building is currently floating a little bit because there's no terrain there.
And all that height data is all exportable. So, we have done a lot to make our platform more malleable, and especially as we continue on our data first approach and looking at APIs and looking at how we can, be more interactive with things like Rhino and those things where you do the fluid dynamics, the flooding, the wind. We're going to have loads more options for people as we move forward. One thing I want to do before we go is I want to have a look at the traffic in Kingston right now.
In Kingston?
Sorry, Greenwich, not Kingston. We're in Greenwich.
Yeah.
Sorry. You could look at traffic in Kingston. I was there the other day and we were having a look. We found a few traffic cams. So we have the whole TfL network of cameras and we have them basically available to look at. So whilst obviously it's not things like traffic stats, you can still...
It's great for getting an idea at different times of the day what the traffic kind of flow is or pedestrian flow is in an area. So there's quite a few down by Greenwich. You can see they just pop up these little camera icons and you can click on them and it'll give
there
you
we go.
sort of almost like a 10, 15 second loop within the last, let's say, half an hour kind of gap. So this one will come up. Some of them might be being used currently because these are cameras which have. So like you'll find that sometimes they'll be using it to actually look at. So it will just say, keep moving along. We'll find one which is actually currently online, or if it's having maintenance work done as well, it won't be online. But there we go. So this is a good example. It's from 11:23.
Which is that right now? What time is it right now?
11:30.
Okay, so that's 7 minutes back.
So it gives you a little 10-second loop of the current flow of traffic in that area coming out the tunnel. So quite interesting to have a look at.
Yeah.
When you're working on sites near these areas. Also, it's just nice to have a nosy sometimes.
I think so, yeah. I people absolutely love this because obviously just the more eyes you can get and being able to see something live, who knows what you'll be able to see.
It just feels very much more like it brings the platform to life, I think, because you see this 3D, the model, but then you've actually got these links to these locations, which are essentially as close to live as possible.
Yeah. And you can see, look at all the building happening. So even now, like we can see there is building works still happening right now today.
Check in what they're doing.
Yeah, and let's see where our actual building is. So this is quite a main road.
Yeah.
And I think the massing we drew would have been somewhere around here. So it's just right there in front of us, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's just interesting to see. You've obviously got the road there, but then actually seeing that there is potential to have, you could say looking at this road, there is potential to have an access point there, but then actually coming to this camera, it's probably not that appropriate potentially to have a access point on the main road into the Blackwall Tunnel. Like that's probably not appropriate.
No.
So, but from looking at the model, there's a road there. Would that make sense as an access point potentially? But then coming to these TfL cameras sort of brings it to life a little bit and helps, I think, especially around thinking of these access points to sites. Really helps that. And also when you go to some of the ones more in the centre of London or, even to more residential areas, seeing how, people actually move around some of these spaces at different times of the day can be quite interesting to have a look at. Just to have a bit of a better think about, what's going on at these sites, where pedestrian access could be. Just one way to kind of utilise them in the platform, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And that we're going to keep doing this. I wish we could do it for our other cities, but I don't think there are other networks with the open API of the TfL cameras. No, I'm pretty sure that's London specific.
Yeah. At the moment. Watch the space.
Watch this space.
Sure.
And of course, while we're here, we have our ULEZ zones, which is basically all of Greater London, so no massive mystery there. Yeah, it's basically everything. And yeah, so I think that's it. How are we doing for questions at the moment? Is there anyone got any questions? No? Just people just happy to enjoy the ride. Okay, let's go. I would like to go back to the centre of London again. And be nice to look at how the cluster has evolved. Just we haven't done that yet. Here we go. Just turning that off, and I will now allow everything else to load in. And here it all comes. Nice and quick. So this is the view that we did for the Architect's Journal. Just looking at how...
You can see our building in the background.
Yeah, look at that. And there is that wonderful massing we drew in the background. So I told you I'm already invested in this.
wow. I'm not sure that will get through
It is. Look, it's quite a
planning
landmark,
permission.
isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. No, you can't see the other stuff. Give it a break. Um, let's maybe just turn this off because it's quite distracting. And we've actually not loaded in the full lot because, well, I mean, we could try because we've limited it about 4, but I think we can probably push this.
Yeah, it's quite nice to increase when you're looking at those longer range views.
Yeah.
Just to try and load in a little bit
And
more.
let's maybe just push the boat out, and some lovely clouds would be nice. And maybe let's go a bit further. Let's see if we can. This is the nice thing about VU.CITY is you can just load in a lot more and watch it come through.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
I'm just going to take off that contour mesh for now.
What are the groups of buildings here?
Well, these are the ones I hid because they were poking out a little bit above the contour mesh.
Why it's now important to consider to manage some of those going
because
forwards.
the final version of the contour mesh had them all wrapped up perfectly. So the idea of it is that they are literally hugging these buildings. That contour is hugging them like so closely. So
well, it just shows how important it is going forwards.
Yeah, to keep this cluster here, well, you can see through it. It's not just a big chunk, right? You can see through these bits, so St. Paul is still viewable. But what they don't want is obviously any more development. So you can replace the buildings within it if you need to, as long as you keep the cluster shape the same. This is the questions we're going to ask them, but that's what I'm assuming, just looking at how tightly they've wrapped it and how they've kept those gaps. And there we go. We can see the lovely pyramid on top of the. Is it the city HSBC building?
Not for much longer.
No. What's happening with it?
Well, I think they're moving back to the city potentially.
Oh, HSBC are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The building's still going to be there.
Okay,
it's
good.
It's got the
good.
little light on the top.
I love it. I love that pyramid as well. I think it's quite iconic. I was walking around the top of the pyramid the other day. Just in VU.CITY, not in real life.
Oh.
Here we go. Let's go back. Okay. So that
2016.
That's 2016.
Oof.
Right?
Well, I think even today.
If I just turn everything off.
Oh, you can put completed. There's some completed on. Okay, so that's what it looks like today.
Yeah.
It's under construction. I can see what's being ones which are being built nice.
Yep.
So these are definitely going up, and then we've got consents. Wow.
Massive change.
Yeah, definitely.
A really small amount of time. But for the good, I quite like this building here with all the different steps.
Street.
Is this the one with all the greening on it?
Yeah, they've got some really nice greening going on all the steps all the way up. It's going to be quite an iconic building down there.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see that come together properly.
I think a lot of the ones around that area, they're all focused around sort of terraces and urban greening, which is nice to see. They
are, and City of London are huge on that.
Yeah.
They have a whole person dedicated just to that. Now, I'm quite interested in how they're filling in the cluster here around the walkie-talkie element. Because if you look at this building here, this really is quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Right? It is quite the building.
But I still like how the walkie-talkie is still at the main point there, because it is quite an iconic building.
But the walkie-talkie?
It is iconic.
It is, and I think people have got used to it.
There. I don't remember London without it. Got the Sky Gardens at the top.
It caused outrage.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
I think it was the LVMF was one of the key sort of drivers for it, was what happened with the walkie-talkie.
Really?
Yep. And then here you have the Ramble skyscraper there. That is Ramble, isn't it? Well, I think it is. I keep thinking it is every time I see it.
I think so. Ramble is south of the river.
Is it?
Yeah, anyway.
There we go. Doesn't matter. But I'll tell you one thing I do feel sorry for. The Shard. Not the Shard. What's this, the Gherkin?
Oh, I know, I like the Gherkin.
Yeah, but I feel like you can't really see it from the front anymore.
Yeah, but it is quite small.
It is.
Like, now you got to think, like, compared to everything else, it is just, like, you can't just keep protecting.
It's a mini Gherkin.
Yeah, well, Gherkins are.
Yeah. Is that what a gherkin is? It's a small cucumber. A small pickle.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely massive, this building right here. This is now the tallest one, right? This.
Is it taller than the Shard,
Well,
though? Well, let's have a look. You can look
we
at
can
the,
find out.
AOD telescope.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay, before we
I
do this, what do you
the Shard's
think?
Taller. I genuinely think the Shard's taller.
You think the Shard is taller than, let's just double check the name of it, because I don't want to get that wrong.
I think you might better go bird's eye. Yeah. No, that's wrong.
That's 70 Grace Church, is that right?
No, it's the wrong one.
No, it's wrong.
Go, yeah.
Was it?
No, go down. Yeah, there it is.
There. Okay. One undershaft, yes.
Right.
Another spectacular name there. So is one undershaft taller than the scalpel?
Right.
Which one do you think? Do you think it's this one here? Do you think that's?
No. I think the
this one here.
What, the tallest?
22 Bishopsgate.
I still think the Shard's taller.
You think the Shard? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Confident.
There's the Shard.
I'm confident because you've got the tiny bits at the top. You've got to remember.
Okay, all we have to do to find out how tall a building is pull up the AOD.
So it's quite nice, the AOD tool, because you can flood the model, but you get these two. You can put two on, so we'll show you one for now.
Oh, I don't know, Anna. It's not looking good.
All right, okay, well.
It's not looking good.
Shuffle it up. I think it'll be all right.
All right, just a little bit more. Here we go.
Oh,
Here
no.
we go. Oh no, it's a close call.
Oh.
It's a close call. Look, it's starting to lose.
I feel like if you do it,
Oh, it's lost.
Right, okay, so how tall is the Shard then?
Well, no, I think we're just. Do you see? It's just this top bit here.
Okay, do the top. Let's offset and see the difference. So nice with the AOD tool, you can put two on at once. So
no, wait, the Shard is still a little fragment of it is still showing. See, this is where we get right.
So let's do one building at a time then. Let's do this. Let's do the new one undershaft first.
Okay.
And let's get the height of that.
Okay. Okay, so let's agree on what the top of that is. So.
And then we can put height.
So what you do is just use these tiny little arrow keys here to come down a bit. There we go. Okay, see, are we counting?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll count that. We'll just put up a couple of arrows, little couple of touches. Okay, and now one down. No, there was a couple, and now one up. Okay, that's it.
And then let's hide.
305.
Let's hide it.
Okay.
And then let's go over to the Shard and we'll do the other one. So it's quite nice. This
But
way you can kind of compare heights.
Okay, but are we starting from the base though?
What do you mean from the base?
Because if they have a different AOD, if they start with a different base. So what I normally do for tall buildings is you go to the actual terrain.
Let's do this then.
Yeah.
I'm getting really accurate here. I was just going to go for a rough. Which one is the tallest, including terrain?
Wow.
Because you know.
Okay. Are you happy with that as the base?
Yeah.
So the offset is 289.25.
So that is 289.25 for
yeah.
that building. Okay.
Okay. One undershaft is 289.25. Could you write that down, Claudia? Claudia's our producer.
I'll write it down. I've got one. Always have my notebook on me.
Okay. Now let's have a look at where the shard starts. Does it start at the same place? And it looks to me.
Lower. It starts lower.
Oh. So it means I've got to ramp this up a bit.
What are you doing?
So the thing is, that you've got the train station there.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Okay. I'm gonna go down a bit. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Keep going.
Okay, but now you're just counting its foundation.
No, up. No, because that's part of it. You've got all that nice bit as you're going underneath.
Okay, wait. How's that?
That's
Okay. Now let's go back. I think it is. All right, let's go to the top. And let's turn on the AOD blue. Oh! Look, the tip of it's showing. Okay, one click down. Zoom
tiny
right.
bit showing at the top.
It is, yeah. I've got to zoom right in on this thing. Okay, there it is. These little pointy bits, do they all count, do they?
Oh, it's miles taller.
It's actually, so if you actually look from where we've measured it from.
I mean, obviously, yeah, probably could be a bit more accurate knowing exactly where it starts at the bottom, but from us quickly eyeballing it.
Okay, it looks like that is the top right there. 350, 309.
Compared to 289.
You were right.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy with that.
Congratulations.
Not competitive at all.
Congratulations. Anna, I think it's time we went to Leeds. Because we're meant to be in Leeds as well. We said we wouldn't be too London-centric, so take us away, Anna.
Yeah, so we thought, we'd also have a quick look around Leeds today as well. Is this on my screen now? Yeah. There we go. So yeah, that's frozen on the main screen, Christopher.
Oh, has it? Oh, okay, no worries. I think all we have to do is just refresh this. Okay.
And hopefully we've got the Leeds model showing on the screen, but I can't.
We do. Don't worry, we're about to get into it. We just need to refresh this bit here and it should be fine.
That's like currently no one can see what I'm up to.
Okay. All right. Now?
We can always go back to, we might have to jump back to London.
Okay.
That's
yes,
right,
that's fine.
Let's jump back into... We're hoping to have 2 screens on the go, but I'm sure for the next session we can get that up and running so we can show a few more cities we've got modelled as well. But we'll jump back into London. I wanted to show in London just because we've got, I speak probably on behalf of myself mainly, and maybe actually quite a few people in VU.CITY, that it is London Marathon this weekend, for those who don't know, and I can't get through a conversation in VU.CITY without talking about running, so here we are. I've managed to get into a drop-in session as well. And I thought it'd be quite nice to go to the start line area of London Marathon, which is like the top of Greenwich. Well, sort of like
Are we going back to Greenwich?
Yeah, Blackheath, Greenwich, top of...
Oh, Blackheath.
We've actually got one of our colleagues, big shout out to Jess.
Yeah.
In VU.CITY, who's running at the weekend, so good luck to anyone else out there.
Absolutely.
Running this weekend as well. I definitely won't have a voice on Monday from cheering people on, so...
So here we are in Blackheath.
So yeah, for those who are running or just want to have a little nosy around, I thought it would be quite nice just to show the area of the start. So for all those, I think there's 50-odd thousand runners descending.
Wow. And do you know why? Just a little bit of background on Blackheath. Do you know why it's called Blackheath?
No.
And do you know why it's so green?
No.
Well, back in the time of the Great Plague, people were buried in Blackheath. It was the Black Death. That's right. And that's also why it's so green and villagey, because you cannot
Excellent.
risk getting that up in the
Wow.
air and the soil.
Less
So
of a happy story about this area then.
yeah, but where's this lovely marathon running through the?
So you go down into Greenwich, go to Cutty Sark, go down there. Then
Oh,
you
the
go
Cutty Sark,
yeah.
isn't that like?
We do a little fly through of the whole route.
The Cutty Sark's over here though, isn't it, on the sea?
So you go down to the Cutty Sark. So the first bit's actually downhill.
Oh yes.
You know,
Sorry.
trying to make it sound like it's easy, it's not.
But where are you actually starting in Greenwich?
So you start at the top of the hill round the. So not that's Blackheath. You start in Greenwich within the Greenwich Park area. So around there, the start line's around that area, and then you run down, and then you go up through like Rotherhite, Deptford.
Is that the Cutty Sark though?
That's
it right there, isn't it?
Yeah, so you go past. We don't go past it, but it goes sort of circles around that road. If you come back up,
isn't that it?
Boring, Yeah, that's the Cutty Sark.
Look at that! I didn't actually realise the Cutty Sark had been modelled. That's actually pretty amazing. And you say what the run is going to come through here?
You come further north. No, further south.
Further south, right?
Yeah, you go down that road. We're not going to do the whole route. We'll be at 26.2 miles is a long way.
We need as a model of Jessica. We need to have placed the model here and just.
But yeah, that would be quite nice to have a quick look because a big event in London every year. I know lots of you had Manchester last weekend as well, so got a lot of runners in VU.CITY.
Yeah, and you were running in Paris, weren't you?
Yeah, a few weekends ago, still recovering. I get to enjoy everyone else running this weekend, so yeah. And obviously you do all the iconic landmarks in London Marathon, which is
Is
nice.
it really? Does it actually?
You go to Tower Bridge.
Oh, it goes over Tower Bridge and everything.
Go down into Canary Wharf, round Canary Wharf, back out, and then you go down along the river and finish on the Mall. So very iconic.
That's amazing.
Yeah, picking up all the sites in London.
That's absolutely incredible.
So yeah, be some tired people on Monday morning.
There are some very sore people as well. But what's the weather going to be like?
That's looking good. About 13 degrees.
13?
Iconic, ideal weather.
I'd say 13 is, it's great for a marathon, isn't it?
Yeah, perfect. But I don't think we've got any more questions, have we, at all?
No. I think people seem to be quite happy just to watch as we spin around, which is fine, which is actually usually the case. If you're not here and you can't pick up the platform yourself and start doing things, it's just quite happy. That's actually the whole thing behind gaming and people streaming gaming is that some people just love that. Oh, I have no idea. Claudia, oh yeah, you can scan the QR code and talk on Slido. I think we might want to enable comments in the future. I don't know. Maybe we can. Maybe we can think about that.
Why don't we head down to where we're currently sat?
Should we go to the South Bank?
I just say the reason why another reason why we want to kind of show Leeds as well is we're actually, myself and Christopher and then our colleagues Tazeen and Brewery are off to UK Reef, which I'm sure a lot of people will be attending as well. And then, it's nearly in a month's time. So yeah, we're at stand C44. Please do drop by. We'll be doing some demonstrations of VU.CITY and our other tool, SiteSolve as well, which is like a generative design tool. But also we'll be there all 3 days. So if you've got any questions, want to see a bit more about the platform, please do drop by and one of us will be more than happy to talk to you. Or if you just want to talk about urban planning generally, architecture,
we love these conversations.
We're there just for a chat.
And just, understanding how the platform can better support your workflows.
Definitely.
Foster more collaboration. I think one of the key things about the platform is that you can actually use it to have a great relationship between public sector and private sector. If you're both on the same page, you're having those conversations over massing far earlier. You're not hitting any major hitches necessarily that you couldn't have foreseen from a really informed pre-app. Then you can have a far better relationship if you're all both on the same page and you start as you mean to go on. So that level of transparency, is just so important when you're trying to strike up these relationships and keep them strong and get this stuff made and get the development happening in a good, responsible, safe way. But yeah, here we are. This is the South Bank, and the lovely...
A lot of stuff going on down here too.
There is. There is. And I quite, I was always a bit skeptical about the London Eye when it first arrived, but I love it now.
Part of the skyline.
Yeah.
Although originally it was on a temporary permission almost, and there was talk about what's going to happen about that. Yeah, it's been extended now, but yeah, that was last year's news about it.
Oh, so it's actually now going to hang around.
Yeah, I think so. It's been extended.
Yeah. And if you don't know, this is VU.CITY right here. Right here. That is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we come out and we see this building.
Yes, we're right behind Festival Hall. So if anyone at any point wants to come drop by, pay us a visit.
We're here, and we love training you and seeing you here and inviting you over.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have some events coming up in the next sort of 6 months, which we'll be inviting people down to.
Yeah, well, we're definitely doing one in July with the Sea of London, so they can talk about the contour mesh and the work we did and what they hope to do with it in more detail. I'm struggling with our building. That's it, right there. I was thinking to myself, that's it.
Gosh. And now you can see me and Christopher.
Yeah. Coming to you live from the South Bank. It's actually a pretty decent LOD4 model, isn't it? Look at that detail. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
Right, well, perhaps we should sign off. We've run out of stuff to do in London, but it's a shame we couldn't get into Leeds.
Hopefully next time we can do some other cities as well.
Yeah, that would be great. We'll do this. I'm not sure why yours died, but it doesn't matter. We'll figure it out.
I think it's my laptop.
All right, cool. Well, everyone who's watching, thank you for joining us today, and hopefully do some more of these sessions. Let us know if you want us, what sort of things you'd like us to cover, whether we're doing massings or just snooping around London and looking at everything that's going on, or the other cities. You know what? I would love to go to Glasgow because it was such an incredible city when I was there. Yeah. And it is so beautiful, so much heritage. And they've got this one unbelievably tall building, like right in the center, behind or where the Heritage Square. And they're about to redo it. And they're going to sort of renovate it because it doesn't look very good at the moment. And it's sort of, it's a bit sort of run down. So they're renovating that. And I'm really keen to see how they go about that.
Maybe Glasgow's on the cards for next time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool. Well, thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
And we will
catch up.
see you soon.